Thank you for tuning in to Mr. Cliff's Toy Shop. On today's review, we take a look at the Storm Collectible Street Fighter V Arcade Edition Akuma. Today, I will be reviewing this figure in 6 categories: accessories, articulation, design, is it essential to your collection, functionality, and price. Once all scores are totaled, I'll give you my opinion if this figure is a pass or a purchase. So just before we jump to accessories, man, am I excited to have this figure. So for accessories, Akuma comes stuffed. Let's take a look at the display piece, which is better sorted for the fireball effect than the figure itself. Akuma comes with 2 gis. Both are painted the same. The exception would be the back. And this is the one that I will go with. So at some point I will change from the version he has on to this one that's here. He comes with 7 hands. I really like how the glove is a separate sculpted on piece. He comes with two flame effect pieces, which I believe are the same, done in a translucent yellow as well as orange. The fading looks very good, coming from orange to yellow. He comes with a fireball effect piece, also done well. Again, the yellow coming into the orange. It looks good. And I believe that there is a port or hole in here somewhere so that you can sit the stand on. I'll have to look at that part of it a little bit later. He comes with 3 head sculpts. Man, do I like having extra head sculpts. And I really like each one of the head sculpts. And in my opinion, they are each vastly different. So this is an open mouth version, screaming, very angry, just done very well. I really like the eyes. Not sure if it's coming through well on the camera, but it appears to be a yellow-red outlining and the rest of the eyes are black. And that's the same for the 3 head sculpts. This one is more of a grimacing head sculpt here. And I really like the lines that are incorporated in his face. So it's just not the expression here. It follows through the cheeks and the forehead. And also the hair looks well. And I didn't know this, but it's also articulated. So I got to remember that during the articulation section. And again, head is just done very well. This is more of a neutral tone, but then it still screams Akuma. It still screams angry or sinister. I really like these 3 head sculpts. And not to be outdone, it also comes with separate beads, which are actually on a string. This is phenomenal. I am very happy with this accessory, something that's so simplistic, but a lot of companies forget to leave out things like this, and I am very happy to have this. So for accessories, I am giving Akuma an overwhelming 10. I have a lot of Storm collectible figures, and I'm not sure if any of them come with as many accessories as Akuma does, but 3 head sculpts, fire pieces, blast effect pieces, extra hands, extra gis. Man, they have spoiled me on this one. So for articulation, you're able to get the head to look that much up, all the way down. It's able to rotate a full 360. You get some excellent pivot on both sides. And you do get some shift backwards and forwards. The ponytail up top is actually articulated, as well as the beads. So for the arm, it's able to extend up about that much. You're able to get it to rotate full 360. There's an upper bicep cut here. The elbow appears to be single jointed, bending in that much. You get rotation at the, is it fair for me to say, gauntlet? It's a separate moving piece. Also rotation at the wrist. It's able to hinge up and down, left and right as well. So for the torso, you get 2 separate moving pieces, one upper, one lower. The upper portion is able to move back about that much. Wait a minute. Forward about that much. You're able to get some pivot side to side as well as rotation. It's a little bit stiff. Now, using both the top and lower, he's able to lean way back, all the way forward. You get pivot as well as rotation. You also get rotation at the waist. So the legs are able to come out about that much, maybe even a little bit further, but I'll stop here. It's able to kick forward that much, backwards that much. You do get upper rotation here. Knees appear to be double jointed, bending in that much. No lower rotation except for the ankle. It's able to turn left and right. It's able to move up about, give me a minute. It's able to move up about that much. Plus you get toe articulation, which moves it that much. It's able to move down that much. And you get, it's able to turn side to side. I'm not sure if this is pivot. It doesn't appear to be any pivot in the ankles. So as far as I can tell, there's no pivot in the ankles. However, I was able to find another point of articulation. Right underneath the gi, it's able to rotate here. Okay, I nearly missed another point of articulation, which is the butterfly joint. It's able to come in about that much. And though that may not seem like a lot, it truly helps this figure do phenomenal poses. So overall for articulation, there is some limitation with the elbow. I would like to see more range of movement than that. There is also some limitation with the double jointed knee. I would like it to kick back a little further, but it's not that big a deal. The biggest deal for me would be the lack of pivot within the foot. That greatly takes away from some of the poses that Akuma can actually be placed in. So I'm not sure if you were able to hear my crying baby in the background, but the video will continue to roll. So for articulation, I'm going to give Akuma an 8 out of 10. So for design, I'm going to keep this short and simple. Storm Collectibles knocked this thing out of the park. Looking at this guy, what more can you want from an Akuma figure? I can't think of anything. So for design, I'm going to give Akuma a 10 out of 10. So is Akuma essential to your collection? Again, this will be very quickly. Yes. After Sagat and Bison, he is the protagonist of the Street Fighter series. So as far as being an essential part of the Street Fighter collection, especially if you're fans of Ryu and Ken, which Ken is my favorite, Akuma plays a very important part within their role. So as far as being essential, I'm going to give Akuma a 10 out of 10. So for functionality, this easily could have, should have, would have been a 10. But for certain reasons, it is not a 10. And let's take a look at those reasons. So coming down below, we're going to take a look at the feet once again with the lack of ankle movement. I actually have Akuma standing on 3 pennies because I was unable to get him in this pose otherwise. The other issue that I have with this particular figure would be the wrist pegs, which I have spoke about in other reviews when it comes to Storm Collectibles. I wish they would really adapt to a system to where the hands have pegs of their own and simply you can plug it in. Now, aside from that, let's take a look at all of the great, starting with the top as far as functional. The ponytail is functional. The beads around the neck is functional. The bow, not bow, the ribbon or belt, the belt. What am I talking about? The belt. The belt is functional. I actually left it off because it actually falls off pretty easily, which brings me to another point. I wish this was made of a stiffer plastic. It appears to be rubber. It's pretty stiff. However, this always scares me as far as plugging it in and out over time of it deteriorating and kind of falling apart. So I wanted to change the gi. Now seems like a perfect time to do so. Oh, one of my lights fell. Happy to report that the light did not take any damage. So to take the gi apart is pretty simple. First, you undo the bow or ribbon of the belt. You then remove the peg or the belt from there, then the peg. And simply you work your way through, just peeling the layers over the arms. I just took the hands off to make it a little more easier. I'm going to collapse the hands down and just peel this back. And it comes off pretty easy. As I mentioned earlier, this is what I want to use. So this is what I'll be putting on Akuma. Okay, everybody, correction. So as I was mentioning with the piece that I would like to be actually a harder plastic, it is plastic. And it's a separate piece that you can actually take off that will plug into each of the gis up top. So I'll be doing that with the other one. So for functionality, I want to give this guy a 10 so bad. It's just the lack of ankle articulation and the pegs not being attached to the hands. It's not fair for me to do so. I say fair, however, as I'm asking for Storm Collectibles to introduce something, I wasn't aware that they already introduced something, which was the plastic, I guess it's fair for me to say, peg system that plugs through this. So I was going to give Akuma an 8 out of 10 due to the ankles as well as the difficulty in plugging the hands into the peg. However, after finding out about this part here, and I also didn't mention, look at the slippers. They are pliable. They move. So for functionality, I'm going to give Akuma a 9 out of 10. So for pricing, Akuma comes in priced at $70. I had mine shipped from an online retailer along with other items that I ordered for $4 in total. So if I was to fairly divide that, Akuma cost me $1.33 to ship, bringing him roughly to 70, let's just say $2. So for that price, what do you get? You get a hell of a lot of accessories. You get added points of articulation that you probably do not see with other action figures, such as the hair, the beads around the neck, as well as the belt that is on the waist. Also, the gi is removable. Not only is it removable, but it comes with another gi that you can replace it with. Not only are both of those gis removable, but you could choose to place Akuma with a gi-less upper half, allowing him to be shirtless. So you get 3 separate ways to display him, along with 3 separate heads, along with beads that are removable, along with different effect pieces. So is he a pass or a purchase? He is absolutely a purchase for me. So for pricing, I'm going to give Akuma a 10 out of 10. That gives Akuma an overall Cliff score of 57 out of 60. Here's Akuma next to Tekken's Heihachi, which I haven't reviewed, but that should be coming up shortly. Here's Akuma next to Storm Collectibles Mike Tyson. Here's Akuma next to Marvel Legends Omega Red. And here he is next to Street Fighter's Chun-Li. So in closing, I am very happy to have this figure added into my collection. It is one of the best figures that I held in my hand this year. I feel that Storm Collectible continues to knock these particular action figures out of the park. I'm truly looking forward to some of their other projects that they're working on, such as Soul Calibur. Before I forget, I said earlier that Akuma comes with 7 hands. I believe he actually comes with 8 hands. However, my figure was missing 1 hand inside of the box. So just to inform you, I will be reviewing Heihachi soon, as well as Mike Tyson, as well as Omega Red. However, I will be doing Omega Red in a different type of review than I normally do. I will also be doing a top 12 action figure review. I have some other stuff that's coming in and I'm trying to wait for it to come in. So that review may not take place actually after December. So thanks again for tuning in to Mr. Cliff's Toy Shop, and I hope to see you during the next review.